Kia ora e te whānau. Welcome to this episode of Light Lunch. I'm Hannah Nansett, Projects Lead at the Institute, and I'm very happy to be joined by Bryan and Ricardo from AFS. I'll hand it over to Bryan to introduce himself.
Thank you, Hannah. So my role at AFS is primarily business development. Focus for me is understanding the market conditions, looking at growing our customer base and expanding that.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bryan. And Ricardo.
Thanks, Hannah. Yeah, so I'm based in Nelson and I look after the technical sales side of AFS. So looking after customer queries, designer queries, any specific details that may be needed, and also specification.
Wonderful, thank you. So we've got Bryan in Auckland and Ricardo in sunny Nelson and myself in sunny and non-windy Wellington. So we're across the nation today. So we're going to start ourselves off with the three kind of hard-hitting questions of what's keeping you up at night, and then go to some lighter questions about yourself. So we'll kick things off with Ricardo. What's the first thing that's keeping you awake at night?
Yeah, so the first thing that would keep me awake at night is the number of times that we see plans come through after building consent that still need to be changed, still have details that are either not going to work for compliance or even buildability on site. As part of my role, I look at every single set of tender drawings that we price off, and often I'm seeing details that are going, that's not going to work on site, or you're not going to comply with that one, or something like that. It would be good if we could get more interaction with between the builder, the architect or designer, and the product specialists before building consent. That way we can save time afterwards, save money afterwards, and do it right. Do it once, do it right sort of style.
Absolutely. My husband, who is a builder, would agree immensely with you on that. Yeah, the collaboration from the get-go is what's needed. Absolutely. Yeah. And Bryan, what's keeping you awake at night?
I sleep pretty sound, but in business development, you probably never can. I think an interesting thing for us at AFS is keeping an eye on the changing demographic that we have in the New Zealand market and how that affects our market space that we work in. Not necessarily only that we work in, but we've got a big, strong foothold in the retirement village sector. And apparently in about 10 years' time, the demographic of New Zealand is changing quite quickly, in the sense that maybe 40% of us and our makeup will be more Asia-Pacific look as opposed to European look. So if we look at the retirement village sector that we're in, we've got 3 on the go now: the Somerset Retirement Village, River Gardens that we're building with them, one with Hopper Developments coming up. It's a big space for us. So how will that market segment look when traditionally the European, myself included, we've farmed out our elderly? And as that demographic switch changes and there's more of a Asia-Pacific influence, and the culture of New Zealand would be to farm that out, but how would that culture change and shift? Would that mean that the Asia-Pacific influence that would then keep more of their family and family close, as we're already seeing with the government being able to say, well, minor dwellings at home, built from home? So it's something I think of, and it's about diversification, spotting opportunities, and what other market spaces we're playing in. So for us, it's important to sort of make sure we get that balance right, and letting people aware, but using the strength and foothold and the track record we have with the retirement sector, and cross-sell that over to the retirement, to the apartment build, vertical build sector, where that's all moving into now.
And that future thinking, if we think about it now, then it can develop.
Yeah.
So
I think the answer to my own question for that is, I think the villages that we're working with now, they are building the right product, and with their locations and setup, they allow themselves to have villas, and then they move to, as you have multiple stages of living, from a villa to an apartment, and then there might be a hospital on site, the dementia care on site. So I think our culture will slowly change too, but
Yeah.
who knows how that actually goes. So it's a crystal ball gazing, and we'll
Yeah.
see.
Watch this space.
Pretty much.
Thanks, Bryan. And Ricardo, what's the second thing keeping you up at night?
Yeah, so the second thing that would keep me up at night is the speed of construction and productivity on site. As we all know, there's been a bit of attention paid to the productivity of New Zealand as a country and the construction industry itself. And where I see that really making a big impact is your overhead or your P&G costs of your construction site. Especially now, interest rates are higher than they were 10 years ago. If you can build faster with less people, then you're going to save money in the long run, and that's going to save the end user, which is the homeowner generally. I think that's where we come in as an offering in terms of speed of construction, using our permanent formwork systems, hand installed, all a lot faster than your traditional block work or your precast or items like that.
Yeah. Well, Ricardo, if you've got anything we can send to our viewers today about that, we can send that out after today.
Yeah, definitely will do.
Cool. And Bryan, even though you sleep soundly, is there something else that keeps you up at night?
Well, probably segueing off from Ricardo, it's a similar concept. That really for us, it's there for how are we networking and how are we connecting? How are we getting our message across to the right people? How are we doing that? And are we doing it with substance? Mm-hmm. So that's something that, we try as a team to sort of bring together, is making sure we're connecting correctly, networking correctly, and are we discovering their challenges? And are we solving their challenges? Thinking, is everybody going to be our customer? Have we a solution? No, we don't. But it's knowing when to say we're not the right solution.
A good fit.
But still build the brand, still build your marketing, still build your network base, still get out there. So I think that's something else I would say would probably maybe interrupt the sleep a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and it's something that most people think of, in their jobs and whatever industry you're in, is that kind of marketing and, how you are viewed by people. Yeah, definitely a sleep disruptor. And Ricardo, how about you?
Yeah,
Third thing.
My final point is around the availability of skilled labour and also the amount of work in the regions at the moment. Obviously, we've come off a relative boom in construction, and it's now hitting a lot of people hard, as probably as people on this call would realise. And that's causing a lot of builders to be able to try and do as much as they can themselves, as opposed to subbing it out to the likes of a block layer or the work they can do themselves. And that's where we come in, is the builder can do the work himself through our ReadyWall system. It's a simple system to do. The builder's not having to worry about organising another trade, and then working with them to be able to get them done on time. Another thing is the weather. Opposed to block work, the ReadyWall system can be installed when it does rain.
Wow.
So that's the third thing that would keep me awake at night, is the amount of work that there is at the moment and the amount of work the builder is trying to do himself, making it easy.
Probably music to people's ears, and you may have solved some other people's sleep issues by proposing that. So thank you, Ricardo. And Bryan, what's your final thing?
I think it'll follow on from my earlier two messages and also from Ricardo's latest one. It's how we get that message across. It's a digital age. Email spam, LinkedIn, it's a quick blip. How do we capture the architectural graduate's attention? How do we make sure that our specifications are easy for them? It's a one click, it's something they can download. How do we make sure we're where they are the right people again. Are they the people that are the team leader making decisions? Or, have we discovered their pain points? What is the actual message we're getting across? So with what Ricardo was saying in our Ready War, for example, the weather dependency, the problems that identifying a market space from my earlier thing is basement builds. Difficult challenge for a lot of people, but that's what we do. We're having great success with that across the country. Again, product plug, the water retention availability, mitigation of it that we have. So yeah, we'll happily send some information out to your viewers on that.
Absolutely. And I think, even though this was sort of labeled being what are the things keeping you up at night, I think what you guys have brought here today is some solutions. So I think the viewers today, would be happy to receive further information on AFS.
Well, thank you. I think the answer to my own question then was go back to your proven process. It's network. Press the flesh. Work with your existing customer base, again, from a business development point of view. Your face-to-face interactions are important. That's going to get you away from the digital age. Build that network base. Press the flesh, as we say. Make the phone calls. Be out there and be the go-to person. Be the person, be the go-to person.
Oh, thank you both. Let's move on to the light-hearted part of the session. So I'll start with you, Ricardo. What are you reading, listening to, or watching currently?
I don't read a lot, but I listen to a lot of music, and it's a great diverse range of genres that I listen to. It all depends on what type of mood I'm in. I can listen to some heavy metal, and then the next day I can be listening to instrumental jazz and blues, and then the next day it's country and rock. And but yeah, I listen to a lot of music, essentially, is what I'm trying to say.
It's great. So what if you're stressed? What would be the go-to?
A bit of country rock, something I can sing along to and even play along to potentially if it's the right type of song.
Wonderful. I love that. And how about you, Bryan? Are you a country folk man?
Definitely not the heavy rock. Country is that. A bit of Celtic music too. Lorena McKenna. Love Lorena McKenna. That's really good. I can certainly listen to that. In fact, on the aeroplane, that's what I could put in. And I do want to do more reading, and I'm currently looking at this book, which you can't see. It's the Rhodesian Civil War.
Oh, wow.
My history and background coming from Rhodesia, Zimbabwe, as they call it now. And the prize for your viewers is whoever can tell us where the capital of Zimbabwe is will win a prize. No. It is in a Swiss bank account.
Oh.
Very good. And the other one is The Great Betrayal, which is also from Ian Smith, the Prime Minister at the time. So it's the history of Rhodesia. So I'm getting into those and understanding a bit of where I come from.
Wonderful. That's great. We'll send those book titles out to the viewers as well. And Ricardo, what do you do for yourself in terms of well-being?
There's nothing. I get energized by social events and social occasions. So there's nothing for me. There's nothing better than a Friday night on the river, a little fire, barbecue, a few mates, just catching up what's happened during the week and relaxing. Really, I love that's my go-to for de-numbing my brain.
Yeah, I know the feeling, absolutely. And how about you, Bryan?
I look to my two dogs. I've got two lovely big dogs, and they keep me happy. And there's a couple of poems and sayings about dogs, lots of little joys that they can give you in life. And I'll smile and be happy. I actually use positive words. I try never say I can't or I won't, and try smile or lift my head. And it's the small things for my well-being. And if you give me 15 seconds, I'll sing you my latest song.
Oh, go on.
It's my dog song.
Yeah.
It goes like this. I made it up yesterday. I'm off to find a walnut tree. Gonna walk till I find that tree. When I find my walnut tree, I'm gonna sniff and circle and piddle and pee. Tomorrow I'll go back to reclaim my tree with a sniff and circle and piddle and pee.
I love that. Oh, that brought a smile to my face.
Well
So
then.
thank you. Yeah. And Ricardo, what is your motto in life?
My motto is say what you do and do what you say.
Mhm.
That's my motto.
Yeah, absolutely. Bryan?
I have an acronym, CANI, can I, which is constant and never-ending improvement. I have that as a personal motto. And a business motto I have, which is on my LinkedIn profile, is CORB. It's about your customers, is customers obtain them, retain them, and build them. We are all in the business of customers, every single one of us. How do we obtain them, how to retain them, and how do we grow them?
It's great. Thank you both. And just to finish us off, a piece of advice for the next gen, Bryan.
Build your personal resilience, learn to fail. Find something that you will actually not succeed at. It makes you stronger. Learn to fail, particularly in this world where there's instant gratification. Learn to fail. Find your character, build resilience.
Wonderful. And Ricardo?
Yeah, I'm probably nearly the next generation, not quite, but no, my advice would be earn while you learn.
Mm.
So taking a job while you are learning, or learn while you're in the job yourself. I found that it was a great help to myself.
Yeah. Oh, thank you both so much. We're 2 minutes over, but I think the song was worth it. Thank you both so much for taking time out of your day today, and we'll be following up with some things that we can send out to our viewers today. So yeah, appreciate it, and we'll see everyone next time. Ka kite anō.
Cheers.